very much. Is it on? Thank you for having me here today. It's truly an honor and a privilege. I am so grateful and excited to be here with you. And I'd like to share with you 4 simple ideas that I've used in my world to create a positive ripple effect or positive change in my life. And may the next 20 minutes we have together be an opportunity for you to remind you what you already know. And also, may this time be an opportunity for you to be still long enough so that you can hear that little voice inside your heart with secret dreams that just are dying to get out. So the first idea I'd like to share with you is to start here, right now, with you. And if you're at a TED event, you want to know what all 4 right now are, right? So the first one is to simply start with yourself first. If we want to make a difference in this world, we know what to do. It starts right here, right now. And the second one is to make that journey, the longest journey that we spend a lifetime doing, from our head to our heart. The third is to simply pay attention to your natural gifts and talents, things that you find effortless, too easy, nothing special. Those are the gifts and talents that we're supposed to include as we follow our purpose through our life. And last but not least, when you come up with that flash of insight, that moment of inspiration, if you're like me, it happens at 3 o'clock in the morning, don't roll over and go back to bed. Get up, because the world needs it. So the first idea I'd like to share with you is this quote and also a poem. It's one of my favorite quotes. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world, and today I am wise. So I'm changing myself first, and if you're like me, boy oh boy, there's a lot to change some days. And I'd like to start with a poem. It's entitled When I Was Young and Free. It's written anonymously on a tomb at Westminster Abbey. And it says, when I was young and free, and my imagination had no limits, I dreamed of changing the world. Pardon me. As I grew older and wiser, I discovered that the world would not change. So I shortened my sights somewhat, and I decided to change only my country, but it too seemed immovable. As I grew into my twilight years, and in one desperate attempt, I settled only for changing my family, those closest to me, but alas, they would have none of it. And now as I lie on my deathbed, I sadly realize that if I'd only changed myself first, then by example, I would have changed my family, and from their inspiration and encouragement, I would have been able to better my country. And who knows, maybe even change the world. And I think that's what we're doing here today. In some small or great way, we are indeed changing our world, which just might change the world. And the second point I want to share with you is that we've got to make this journey, and so much gets in the way. I hope I'm not the only one, but so much for me gets in the way from here to here. Fear, doubt, insecurity, maybe getting paid too much money or not enough. But so much can keep us up here, where if we take the time, it's a long way, a lifetime. If we take the time, we just might find that the heart is the place where magnificence lies. From success to significance, I believe this is where we'll find it, in your heart. And it's saying something to you. I know everyone in this room has achieved extraordinary things already in our lives, but something greater, something even greater is potentially in there that's just dying to get out. My brother, I have 9 brothers and sisters, grew up on a farm in Saskatchewan, raised Catholic, need you say more? And how about those riders? Yes. So my brother, 15 years ago when I started my first business, my brother came to me and he said, and they've all got a lot of advice to give you. If you have brothers and sisters, they've all got something to say. And my one brother in particular said, I've got some things to tell you. And following along the lines of moving from success to significance, he said, never fall in love with something that won't love you back. And to this day, I'm still wondering, is that about business or life that he was referring to? But never fall in love with something that won't love you back. Number 2, as it relates to business, is it fun? Is it making money? And is it making a difference? And the third thing he said is, what do you love to do so much that you would pay to do it? He said, do that for your business, do that. And so that's what I did. And I've used this as a litmus test for many things, primarily the first one. And it's truly helped me along my journey. I think we all want to make a difference in this world. We want to contribute in some way greater than what we're currently doing, or we wouldn't be here. And for me, sometimes these things happen in the form of questions. I have 2 questions for you, and they've been some of life's most difficult questions for me. What is your purpose, and what are your gifts and talents? And for me, what is my purpose? I don't know. I'm the 8th kid. I have a twin sister. We look a lot alike, you know. I mean, I felt like nothing special growing up, and if any of you have felt that way, I can relate. I thought, what is my purpose? What am I here for? What am I here to do? What are my gifts and talents? You know those things that come so easy for you but so hard for someone else? And these are the questions I believe we're on a quest to find. And as we come up with our answers, I ultimately believe that that's where we'll change the world. So my purpose, and I think it's a lot like your purpose, I believe we are here to discover and share our unique gifts and talents. I think we're also here to inspire others to do the same. And last but not least, I think in some way we are destined to create a ripple effect of positive change around us, whether it's in our families, our communities, our country, or even around the world. Now, these gifts and talents, and by the way, is there anyone here who isn't really sure about their own unique gifts and talents? I have this great tool that I've used, and this is what I came up with for my answers. And I thought, my gosh, couldn't there be anything more interesting than that? You know, to move physically, that doesn't sound that exciting. To create just about anything, as long as I'm creating, I know that it's where I'm supposed to be, and to empower others. Now, for me, I thought this isn't really anything remarkable. We all want to be different and stand out in some way. And then I realized what moving physically really meant. We could put one foot in front of the other, together, or sometimes on your own, and create world change. And I know for me, it happened years ago, kind of at one of those flashes of insight. This is my mom. She's a great lady. And in one particular moment, our lives were almost shattered. She had her heart was defective, and in 1992 she went in for a heart valve replacement, and in that time frame our life would never be the same. So in this moment of insight, I thought, okay, I've got to do something to make a difference. And so I called my twin sister at 3 o'clock in the morning, as it was, and I said, I've got this idea. We're going to bike a tandem bike across the country. Actually, it started out around the world, but she's much more logical than I, and she said, how about just the country? We could start there, see how it goes. You know, twins on a tandem, great opportunity for fighting. But we thought, you know, twins on a tandem would be a pretty good gimmick. Especially if you have big teeth like this, it wasn't too bad. So we became the first tandem bike to cross the country. Our goal was to raise $1 million for heart research. And at the end of the day, we didn't meet our goal. We raised $500,000 for heart and stroke research, traveling from Victoria to Newfoundland. Thank you. And it was back then that I realized that moving physically might not be so boring after all. So whatever you feel your gifts and talents might be, they are not boring. They are meant to be shared. And you know, I had another flash of insight, and this time it was driving by this property. And I did have a corporate job at one point in my life, although I've been self-employed for the last 15 years. And at that point in time, full benefits, full medical and dental, great paycheck. I thought that was what I wanted. And then I drove by this place, and most people would look at that and say, are you crazy? And yes, I thought I was crazy, and so did everybody else. But this is what I saw. It's the Kelowna International Hostel on Pandosy Street. 15 years ago, we embarked upon that journey, converting a rundown, dilapidated, crack house into something like this. And our slogan is living the dream, and I believe that is what we're all here to do, is live our dreams, your dreams. And it's special thanks to travelers like this from around the world, going into our 15th year, travelers like this, who changed the world of these kids here. We're just building, or just have built, our 3rd school in Nepal with Room to Read, a fantastic organization. And I'm so humbled and grateful by these world travelers that come and choose to stay at my place. And as they talked about tribes a moment ago with Seth Godin. It's true. We all just want some place to belong. And they call the hostel the black hole, and I used to be offended until I heard what it meant. They said, no, you come, you get sucked in, and you never leave. I thought, I'll take that. So my hope for you would be that when you drive by and see a property, whatever it might be, or when you have a secret dream, something inside of you, and you just think, is that crazy? Stop. breathe, and maybe just listen a little longer, because it just might be the idea that changes the world. This is a picture of one of the schools, and again, special thanks to the travelers who have made that happen. Life is about this journey of moving from our heads to our hearts, of sharing our gifts and talents, discovering our purpose, and then taking action towards those ends. And Mark Twain says it best. He said, the two most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you find out why. And I think it's true. And the why, that question is the biggest question of all. If you have any children in this room, if you have kids, that's the question they ask, is why? Why? And it's the question we should ask, why? And I believe that when we can make the why big enough, the how becomes easy no matter what it is.